Alright, this video is going to go into speed picking, tremolo picking, picking really fast. In that example, I just started out with it to show you how, like, if you notice, my movement kind of changed the faster I get. And there's 3 elements in movement we'll get into of these to cover just different ways to move your pick and the situation and how to be able to play that way fast for a long time without getting fatigue. First, we're going to talk about picks. If you're using a heavier pick or a light pick or a medium pick or anything in between, for me personally, it varies on how I grip the pick. There's no right or wrong pick to use, it's all personal preference. But if I'm using a heavier pick, I'm going to grip lighter. That way the pick is actually kind of moving a bit in the fingers. I'm not going to hold it so rigid so just the tip is bending, but I'll let it kind of move a bit between the fingers. That's with a heavier pick, it's less string resistance and I can go over the string easier without getting stuck on it or bending the string out of tune or breaking strings really easy. That's the problem I notice with thick picks when I'm gripping too tight. With a medium pick, I'll just grip a little, I can relax a little bit more. I always preferred medium gauge picks around that area because I can still get that thick sound out of the pick if I use more surface, but it's still not too extreme on the strings, and I tend to play a little heavy-handed so I don't break my strings that easy. Thin picks work as well. It's just you're going to actually end up gripping a little bit tighter. And you got to use more of the movement in the pick. It's more like a finer detail, I think, using a thin pick. I like thin picks for some things, but they tend to I have a hard time hitting accents really hard with them. And when you're playing fast, your accents take a little bit more smaller movement to get them to work, basically. So you got to really have a lot of pick control to get your accents tight on a very quick pattern. Out of the shape of the pick, there's a lot of different ones you'll find with different materials. What I like is to have the tip at a point. These are a little bit worn, but there's some you can buy that are already sharpened. This one's worn, but it's normally sharp. And if it's worn, what I'll do is just grind it on the carpet a few times. Carpet works best, better than sandpaper. I'll take the tip and put my finger on one side and push pressure on the tip, slide it 2-3 times, usually does it, and do it again here. To do it real quick, just a couple strikes on the floor and it's at a good sharp point. Now it's just less surface hitting the string. It goes faster, less string resistance, less pick resistance. Now, as far as where I'm going to pick, in a lot of my videos I tend to pick more over the neck. Mainly, it's not because, well, sometimes I'll do that for tone, to get a bassier tone, more warmth in the tone, but really it's harder to do that there. I'm probably doing that because the way I'm sitting, it's not the best position for tremolo picking. Because I normally tremolo pick more towards the bridge. The reason for that, one, is the tone is a bit brighter, so you can hear the detail more, especially with more distortion. Also, the string is more rigid here. There's less string movement going around. The further I go up towards the neck, the looser the string is. And it's hard the main thing about tremolo picking is I want to keep my pick as close as possible to the string at all times. So if the string's moving around, it's a lot harder. It's harder to hit a moving target. Back here, it's going to stay more rigid and there's more clarity there. Here, I like to use it as well. There's a difference in tone and just the way the string reacts, though. One thing I notice over the neck even, is the string oscillates so much that, and also you kind of get snagged on the string, and you can make a bit of noise. This kind of like that overtone in there. That sound basically from the pick hitting the fretboard. This usually isn't desirable, but if you use it in a rhythmic way, it can be pretty cool. It's a good thing to experiment with. Generally, for straightforward playing, though, I'm going to go closer to the bridge. If I'm doing a lot of open picking, I'll go, my end of my hand here towards the palm is going to be resting almost behind the bridge. Depending on the guitar, too. If it's a Floyd Rose, you don't want to touch the bridge without putting the guitar out of tune or bending the pitch. So I'll rest somewhere around there. If I'm going to be using palm mutes a lot, so like more of a thrash metal type thing, and I want to be able to return in and out of a palm mute. I want to be able to keep my picking hand where close, just, I don't want to move it from where my palm mute is. So it's going to be right at the end of the strings. And my picking hand tends to be pretty much in that center position between the neck and the bridge. Other than that, also the angle of your pick is going to make a big difference. If you try to play what's called flat picking, that's where your pick is parallel with the string and it's hitting all against the flat surface of the pick. What I do is angle it, so basically this part of my hand is going to angle upwards. So I'm raising this side of my pick, the bottom part in this position, raising it this way, upwards, about not even 45-degree angle. Somewhere of an upwards thing though, so I'm more slicing across the string instead of fighting the string like that. That makes a big difference. Here I'll try it flat picked at even a moderate tempo. And you hear this like string, the sound of my pick getting stuck on the string. When I angle it, you can even plug your guitar into a tuner and just play an open string, and you'll see it's always going a little bit off from a true E or A or whatever you're playing on. But the less pick you use, the less area of the pick, the more towards that fine tip, you'll see it's closer to being in tune. It's not making the string oscillate so much over the constant and extreme pressure on it from the pick. That's it for this part. I'll go into a second part, a more technique for how your right hand's going to move, and also some exercise on this. That's it. You can push stop.